Promoting the growth of the tabletop sports hobby, this is Imagisport.
Hello there and welcome to the Imagisport Showcase. Derek Jones here with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video today. I got a special edition of the showcase for you with the Olympics just starting here. I decided to go ahead and feature one of the more popular sports in the past few Olympics, that being curling. As you can see, I got my curling gear on today. I am an active member of the Rail City Curling Club located in Ebensburg, Pennsylvania. So when I'm not rolling dice or on the computer playing sports sims, curling is another thing that I do with my free time. I've been curling since probably about 2018, first part of 2019. Anyway, so today what I've decided to do is do a little pre-play of sorts with Team USA and Team Canada, and we're going to have a triple header of games with 2026 Olympic players, and we're going to feature two curling games that are actually out there that you can get, and one is a paid game and one you can get for free. These games being Shot Rock Curling and Instant End Curling, and give you more details about those games in just a moment. But first, because for the benefit of those who may not be as familiar with how curling works, I just wanted to give a quick summary of some of the basic rules of how the game is played. Curling is generally, you have four curlers per team. Now, at the club level, we usually play about 6 to 8 ends. Each game is a series of ends, kind of like innings in baseball. But in elite international competitions like the Olympics, games are 10 ends in length. Now, sometimes the games might be shortened if they get too far out of hand, but for the most part, most of the games will be 10 ends in duration. One of the players on the team is known as the skip, and they will be the last shooter on the team. They're going to be calling shots throughout the game for the other three curlers. Each curler is going to throw 2 stones per end, and then the skip will throw his or her 2 stones last. So each team will send 8 stones down the ice one at a time toward the targeted area that you see in the diagram known as the house. Now, the object of the game is to try to get your team's stones as close to the center of the house as possible, the area known as a button, while at the same time preventing the other team from doing the same. That is why sometimes when you're watching curling, some shots will actually go into the house and try to get to the center, but other times the stones will actually stop short of the house and they will go between the hog line in front of the house, but not necessarily in the house. And the skips will actually call those shots on purpose because then they will serve as guards to either prevent the other team from scoring or to protect their own stones that are in the house from being knocked out by the other team. Now, there's an advantage for a team that shoots last in each end, and that advantage is known as the hammer. If you have the last shot, then you have a better chance of actually controlling the outcome of the end. So at the end of each end, basically the team that has the closest stone or stones to the center of the house or the button, they'll score 1 point for each stone they have closest to that button. And then since they scored the points, the hammer will then go to the other team. And then the team with the most points at the end of the contest will win the game. If for some reason the teams are tied at the end of 10 ends, then they will play one more end in order to break that tie. So with that in mind, let's go to our first game that we're going to be showing you, and that is going to be Shot Rock Curling. And we're going to do that to play the women's game between USA and Canada. Now, shot rock curling is an older game. It was created, I think, around 2010 by Brien Martin, but it is still around. And I Googled today just to make sure, and it is still on the ASG Games website. But if you go to the ASG Games website itself and you start poking around and exploring and trying to find it, you might not be able to find it. So what I want to show you here is that the easiest way to find shot rock curling is to actually Google shot rock curling board game. And then the second result here says shot rock curling archives. And basically that will take you to the page on the ASG Games site where the shot rock curling game is at. Now, according to the website, a print version is available for $12.97. I actually got the PDF version for $5.97, downloaded that and printed it out myself. And that's the version that I am using here today for the two games that we're going to play with shot rock curling. And again, that's at the ASG Games website at asggames.com if you want to try it out. But let's not waste any more time with that. Let's go ahead and go to ice level and check out the first of the two games we're going to feature with shot rock curling today. That's going to be the women's game between Team USA and Team Canada. Okay, so we're ready for our women's pre-play of the 2026 Winter Olympics using shot rock curling. Team Canada going up against Team USA. You see the cards there. Once again, these are custom made cards. There is a how-to guide that comes with the game, which enables you to rate your own teams based on a particular season or competition. And the ratings are range from 1 to 9, and they are based on a shooting percentage from a particular event. So what we're going to do first here is the first thing you need to do is you need to go to the match rating chart here pre-game. And basically what this reflects is, and I can relate to this because it happens to me in curling all the time, is that there are going to be some games where a curler will shoot lights out and everything rock that they throw will go exactly where they want it to go. And then there are going to be other games where it's the exact opposite, where you just can't seem to make a good shot no matter how hard you try. So this match rating chart will adjust the ratings on their cards, and this could come into play later on whenever we go to determine what the game score ratings are. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll for each of the curlers and compare it to this match rating chart to see if we adjust any of the match ratings that are on their card right now. So we're going to start off with Team Canada, and Sarah Wilkes is the lead for Team Canada. She is a 2, and so we're going to roll the dice here, and it is a 16. So basically what that means is for the lead is that she's going to be a little bit better this game. She's actually going to be a 1. So we are going to change her rating for this particular game from a 2 to a 1. The second for Team Canada is Emma Miskew. She is a 5 on the card. We're going to roll here, and it's a 62. So her rating does not change. The third is Tracy Fleury. So now we're going to have to go down one row here to this third chart to see what her rating is going to be like. She is originally a 3. And she rolled a 0-2. So again, she's going to be shooting lights out as well. So instead of a 3, her rating is going to be a 1 as well. So she is also going to be a 1. The fourth is the skip, Rachel Homan for Canada, one of the best women curlers that Canada has right now. So we're going to go to this fourth chart right here for that. And she rolled an 0-6. So she is going to be a 3 for this game. 0-6 to 20 means that she goes down a point. So she is going to change from a 4 to a 3. So once again, Wilkes is now a 1. Miskew stays at 5. Fleury becomes a 1. And Homan becomes a 3. Now over to Team USA. Taylor Anderson Heidi is the lead for Team USA. And so she rolled a 99. So she's actually going to be a little worse today. She is going to be a 4. And Tara Peterson for second is going to be a 16. So Tara is actually going to be a little bit better. So instead of a 4, she is going to be a 2. Corey TC is the third. She is also on the mixed doubles team for Team USA. She rolled an 84. She's going to be a little bit worse. So instead of a 2, she is going to be a 3 today. And Tabitha Peterson, the skip, she is the fourth. She rolls a 43. She's already a 2, so she's going to stay a 2 for today. So once again, Anderson Heidi is now a 4. Tara Peterson is a 2. Corey TC is now a 3. And Tabitha Peterson remains a 2. So now to determine what their percentages are for making a critical shot today, now we go to this game score rating chart here. So basically you compare the curlers head to head, lead against lead, second against second, and so on. And so basically you take the numbers and compare them to the matrix. So for instance, since Sarah Wilkes is now a 1 and Taylor Anderson Heidi is now a 4, Wilkes' percentage today is going to be a 92. That is her game score rating for this game, and that's going to again come into play when we get to that point. And so consequently, since Anderson Heidi is a 4 and Wilkes is a 1, then she is going to be she's going to be an 80 for her score. So now we go over to the second area right here. Emma Miskew is a 5. Tara Peterson is a 2. So Miskew's game score rating today is going to be a 77. And then for Peterson, she is a 2 and Miskew's a 5. Her rating is going to be an 89. Going to the thirds now, so we'll need to go down here to this third area. Fleury is now a 1 and TC is a 3. So Fleury's rating is going to be 79 today. And Corey TC's rating is going to be a 71. And so for the skips, Rachel Homan is a 3 and Tabitha Peterson is a 2. So Rachel is going to have a game score percentage of 69. And Tabitha Peterson is going to have a rating of 73. All right, so our ratings are all set. And so now we need to determine who is going to have hammer for the first end. Hammer is the curling term for the team that has the last shot in the end, and it is a distinct advantage to have that hammer. So we'll go odd Canada, even USA to see who has hammer. It is odd, so Team Canada will have the hammer. So now we're ready to start this game here with Shot Rock Curling. So first and foremost, the one strategic decision you make in Shot Rock Curling is whether or not you want to make a chance at a blank end. And there are a couple different reasons why you would want to do that. Normally, teams would like to score at least 2 points in an end if they have a hammer. So if they have no shot at doing that, sometimes they will blank the end intentionally. Or because it is advantageous to have the hammer in an end, they kind of want to have it in the last end of a game. So since we're in an odd numbered end right now, it'd be good to switch that hammer to the even numbered ends, because once you score in curling, then hammer reverts to the other team. So we're going to see, Homan's going to try for the blank here for end number 1. So what we do is we go to her rating, which is a 3, and so we look right here, and so it's a 1 to 79 chance. So if I roll 79 or less on this roll, Canada's going to blank end 1. And it's a 59, so they do. So there was no scoring in the first end, and Canada will stay with hammer here for end number 2. So now we're going to go to some normal gameplay. Now that Canada has points, they're going to want to try to score. So the first roll is for influence. So you want to see which of the 4 curlers in Canada is going to have to make a critical shot in this end. So we're going to roll the dice and see who that curler is going to be. It's going to be a 91, so it is going to be Rachel Homan, the 4th. So now we go back to Homan's score percentage that we saw at the beginning of the game, and that is a 69. So basically, if I roll a 69 or less, then Canada will score points in the end. But if I roll a 70 or higher, then Team USA will actually steal points. So we're going to roll here, and it's going to be a 67. So just underneath the wire, Canada is going to score. Now we need to figure out how many points Canada's going to get for this end. So now we look to the chart here, and we're looking at two things. Number one is Homan's rating, which is a 3, not a 4. Remember, we changed that pregame. So we're going to look at the 3 column here on the with hammer chart. But before we do that, we notice that Homan is a 3 rating, and Tabitha Peterson, her counterpart on Team USA, is a 2. Since Homan is 1 worse than Peterson, then we're going to be taking 1 off of this D10 roll before we apply it to the chart. So here we go. The chart, the roll is going to be a 29 minus 1 is a 28, and Homan is a 3. So that range is going to give you 1 point for Canada, and USA will have hammer going into end number 3. So again, Tabitha now is going to have a chance to blank an end. She is a 2, so her chances of blanking the end is going to be 1 to 81. So let's see if she can blank the third end, and she does. So after 3 ends of play, Canada is up 1-0. USA keeps the hammer for end number 4. Keep in mind with this blank end phase, according to the rules of the game, you cannot blank more than 2 ends in a row. So keep that in mind. All right, end number 4, we're going to see who has influence for Team USA, see if they can tie it or take the lead. 84, so it's going to be the skip. So Tabitha Peterson is going to have influence for this end. Her game score percentage is a 73, so we need a 73 or less in order for the USA to score points, and it's a 64, so they will. Now, we're going to flip the script here this time because Tabitha has won better than Homan in the ratings. Remember, lower number is better. Then we're going to add 1 to the D10 roll this time instead of subtracting. And we're going to look at the 2 column here for the hammer chart instead of the 3. So here we go. It's going to be a 04 plus 1 is 05. Doesn't really matter. It's just 1 point for the Americans. And so after 4 ends of play, we're tied 1-1, and Canada gets the hammer back. So here we are in end 5 for Canada, and again we're going to try for another blank. And so again, Rachel Homan's is a 3, it's a 76, we needed a 79, so again they will blank the 5th, and we'll go to the 6th, still tied at 1. So let's see who has influence in end number 6. It's going to be a 22, so this time it's going to be the second that has the influence. The second for Canada is Emma Miskew, and so her game score percentage that we determined ahead of time is a 77. So once again, we need a 77 or better, or I should say, or lower, in order for Canada to get some points here. And it's a 40, so she does. Miskew makes her critical shot. So again, we're going to look at the 5 chart this time with the hammer. But again, Emma's a 5, Tara Peterson is a 2, so that's 3 worse. So we're going to subtract 3 from this roll here. So 71 minus 3 is 68. That still puts us in the 2-point range for Canada. So the Canadians get a deuce, and after 6, it is 3-1 Canada, USA with hammer in the 7th. USA is going to try and just score some points. They're not going to blank the end this time. Let's see who gets influence. It's going to be 25, so Tara Peterson's going to have the influence this time. And her score percentage is an 89 that we calculated pregame. So let's see. Does Peterson make her shot? She does with a 23. So again, same thing. We're going to go with the 2 chart over here, and we are going to add 3 because of the 3-point differential between her and Emma Miskew. So 89 plus 3 is a 92, and since she is on the 2 column, the USA is going to get 3. So they have taken the lead 4-3 heading into end number 8. All right, let's see who has influence here for Team Canada in the 8th end. It's going to be 90. It's going to go back to Rachel Homan. home and success percentage is a 69, like we have mentioned before. 41, she makes her critical shot. So again, we're going to go with the hammer. We're going to go to the 3 column and we are subtracting 1 here. So 49 minus 1 is a 48 and she is a 3. So again, only 1 point for Canada. And so it's 4-4 heading into end number 9. So with Peterson having hammer, we're going to try to blank and get the USA to have the hammer in the 10th end. So again, we need a 1 to 81 to make that a blank. It's a 68, so that is a blank. So here we are, final end here coming up. No sense blanking this one and risking a tie. We're going to see who's going to win right here. Is it going to be Canada or Team USA? We do not have to roll for influence here because in the final end of the game, the fourth or the skip will automatically have influence. So it falls on Tabitha Peterson's shoulders here. She needs a 73 or lower in order for the U.S. to score some points. And she does not get it. She gets an 84. So it's going to be Canada that's going to have the steal, and they're going to win the game. And so let's see how many points they're going to get out of it. Okay, so it's going to be a 71. Minus 1 is a 70. She is a 3. So Canada actually stole 2 points in the final end, and they win this pre-play by the score of 6-4. What an exciting game that was. All right, we'll take a quick timeout, and we'll be back with some more curling action here on Imagisport right after this. So once again, that is Shot Rock Curling, available at ASG Games. And so, like I said, you can get the print version for $12.97 and the PDF version for $5.97. Now again, keep in mind that whenever you purchase the game, it will come, at least the PDF version came with one set of cards from the 2010 Olympics. But as I mentioned, whenever I was rolling the game there is a how-to guide so that you can create your own curlers, just like I did for those 2026 cards. So again, that's Shot Rock Curling from ASG Games. So the next game we're going to feature here today is going to be Instant End Curling. This is a game that was just recently released by Nick Tuori at NBT Sports Games. He's the one that has Tip-Off College Basketball, and he made a completely free game. So you can actually go to his website, or he posted on Facebook in a couple different places the link where you can go to actually get this. So it's basically just a 16-page PDF, and this game is a little bit different from Shot Rock Curling. It doesn't feature any individual curlers, but instead he uses team cards, and he has 54 countries carded in this game based on their world rankings. So you can put a lot of different country matchups together, and I think there's one person out in the community that's doing an entire season with all of the countries. Again, this is just free of charge, and it is available at nbtsportsgames.wordpress.com, and of course I'll have a link to this in the description. Now, instant end curling is just an end by end, so usually it is just one die roll, two 10-sided dice, just like in Shot Rock Curling. And basically you just roll the dice to see what happens in each end. So for instant end curling, we're going to do the mixed doubles portion today. Mixed doubles is a little bit different than regular curling. Instead of 4 players per team, there are 2, 1 man and 1 woman. And instead of 8 rocks per team, there are actually 6 stones that are used per team for each end in mixed doubles, and one of those stones is actually pre-placed before the end starts. Now, they'll depend on whether the team has hammer or not will determine where those stones are pre-placed. And also, in mixed doubles curling, games are usually 8 ends instead of 10. So those are the main differences. There's a few other differences too, but the way this game plays, those won't really come into play. So we're just going to go ahead and go to our mixed doubles feature right now, which I did record these games ahead of time, like earlier in the week, before the mixed doubles portion of curling actually started. So as you're watching this, the U.S. has already played Canada in mixed doubles, and they won that. So this is could be a replay of sorts instead of a pre-play, but let's see what they can do here. So let's go back to the curling sheet for mixed doubles between USA and Canada using instant end curling. Okay, so now we're going to have our mixed doubles contest here for USA versus Canada, and again we're going to use instant end curling for this. So what Nick has done is he's based his cards based off of the country's world rankings, and he's done it for men, women, and mixed. So basically for this mixed doubles is we're going to be using the third column here on each of these cards, and he's rated these teams for accuracy, sweep, power, and clutch. And so basically there's even like a boutique rating here in order to that you could use here, so we can use those a little later on in the game. And the rating is based out of from 1 to 5 stars. So Canada has like a 5-star accuracy, 4-star sweep, 4-star power, and 5-star clutch, where Team USA has 5-star accuracy, 4-star sweep, 4-star power, and 4-star clutch. So Team Canada is consists of Jocelyn Peterman and Brett Gallant, and Team USA in mixed doubles is Corey Tisi and Corey Dropkin. And just another change to this is instead of 10 ends, mixed doubles usually has 8 ends. So that's why the scoreboard has changed there. So pretty much what happens is in instant end curling, you basically roll 2d10 for each end to see what happens. The one die is a scenario that lets you know which scenario to read off of, and then the other die, which is going to be the green die in this case, you can basically compare it to the rating, or you add it to the rating to see what happens there, to see which team scores points. So a little bit different than what shot rock curling is. So let's see again who's going to get hammer first, and again it's going to be even, so USA is going to have hammer to start things off this time. All right, so here we go. Again, we're going to use the purple die for the scenario, but we're only going to read the first digit off of that, and we're going to use the green die to see what the result of the scenario is. So the scenario this time is going to be scenario number 4 for end 1, which is going to be a takeout duel. The key trait is power. So you take your outcome roll and add that to your team's power rating. And so the green die is 1. And the power rating for Team USA is 4. That is a 5. That is less than 9, so it's going to be a blank end, and we're going to move on to end number 2. And so that is going to be scenario 1, which is open house. The key trait is accuracy. So again, we're going to take your outcome roll and add that to your team's accuracy rating. So the die is a 3, their accuracy is a 5, that is 8. So if the result is 8 or 9, you score a point. So 1 point scored for Team USA after 2 ends, and the hammer reverts to Canada for end number 3. So this time we have a 9 and a 5. The 9, scenario 9, is the perfect setup. Again, the key trait is accuracy. So again, we're taking the outcome roll, adding it. So it's going to be 5 plus Canada's accuracy, which is also a 5. If the result is 9 or 10, scoring a point. So Canada ties it up 1-1 after 3, and the hammer goes back to Team USA. And so this time it's going to be scenario number 2, an early mistake. Key trait is sweep. Check to see whether your outcome roll is equal to or less than your sweep rating. So the outcome roll is 4 and their sweep rating is 4. That is equal. So basically what that means is that Canada has stolen a point, and so they lead 2-1 after 4 ends. USA still with the hammer for end number 5. So in the fifth end, we go to 4. It's a takeout duel. This time, key trait is power. So you're going to add the outcome to the power rating. So it's a 9, and their power rating is a 4. That makes a 13. So the result is 12 plus, which it is. You score 2 points. So Team USA gets 2 in the fifth end, and they now have a 3-2 lead. Here we go with end number 6. Canada has the hammer. 36 here for this one. So 3 is draw weight end. Key trait is sweep. So you check to see whether your outcome roll is equal to or less than your sweep rating. The die is a 6. The sweep rating is a 4. So that is not successful. So it's going to be a blank end. And so Canada's going to have the hammer in end 7, but they trail 3-2. So for N7, it's scenario 7, a multi-score chance. Key trait is clutch. So you take your outcome roll and you add it to your team's clutch rating. So the outcome is 6 on the roll. Their clutch rating is 5. That's a total of 11. So for that, they're going to score 2 points, and they're going to take a 4-3 lead heading into the final end. But the USA does have hammer. Let's see if TC and Dropkin can pull this one out. And it's going to be open house is the scenario number 1. Key trait is accuracy, so we're going to add it to the team's accuracy rating. So the die is a 9, the accuracy is a 5, that's a 14. So the USA is going to end this by scoring 3 points in the final end. So the USA takes this mixed doubles matchup by the score of 6-4 over Team Canada. All right, let's go back to the studio for a moment. We'll be back with more curling action here on Imagine right after this. Okay, so Corey Dropkin and Corey TC pulled it out again in the very final end with 3 points to take it 6-4 over Canada in the mixed doubles portion. And again, that was with instant end curling by Nick Tuori. Now, again, these are just 2 of several curling games that I have found on the market. Some of them I have downloaded and have tried out, some I have not. But I just wanted to share with you that there are some other curling games out there if you wanted to give them a try. So I'm going to list them for you right now and where you can go to find them. First on the list is T-line curling. I believe T-line curling got released about the same time as Shot Rock curling did. T-line curling is a little different. It's an end-by-end game like Shot Rock curling, but the main difference is that in T-line curling, teams are rated. They're rated on letter grades, A through F. There are no individual ratings in the game. And the second difference with T-line curling is that you have a few more strategy options that you can use in T-line curling as opposed to Shot Rock curling. Those of you familiar with Roberto Schiavini games, he does have a curling game out. I have not personally played it. I did check out his website earlier this week. He still has the curling game available with a few sets that you could purchase as well. I do remember that the Sports Time Machine featured this game on his channel some time ago, so you might want to go over there to check out how that game is played. On the Button Curling is another one. This one was designed by Mike Owens, I believe. I have that game. I haven't really had a chance to do much with it yet, but I did look at the charts and the rules that he had for it. The play of it kind of reminds me a little bit about History Maker Baseball, where you can kind of go and you roll the dice to see what happens, and then you look on a column based on what the certain curler's qualities are. There are individual curling cards that you use for the game, and he does include a whole bunch of curler cards with the game. They are all fictional players, though, but there is a how-to guide that's available whenever you get this, but it is only to develop fictional players. Unless I missed something, I did not see any mechanism for creating cards that would emulate real life curlers. But the game itself and the cards are absolutely free, and you can find this game and the downloads on the Board Game Geek website. And then finally, if you want a full play, shot by shot curling tabletop experience, check out Curling King, which was produced like late last year by Rob Gallimore at his Gitches Games site. Like I said, Curling King is, again, you go shot by shot, so you can it's actually like you're curling on the ice. You pick where you want the shot to go, and then you roll the dice to see if you make that shot or you miss that shot, and you just keep going shot by shot until you resolve the end. He's made a few individual curler cards for the game, some fictional, and he made a few real life as well that you can use to try out this game. So again, these are 4 other curling games that you can try, and feel free to try them and give me your take as to what you think about each of them if you want. Again, my email address is djones90@yahoo.com if you want to get in touch with me that way, or you can just add a comment to the video here. And if you know of any other curling games that are out there besides these 4 and then the 2 I'm showing today, please by all means let me know, because I'm always on the lookout for some decent curling games, because obviously, as you can see here, it combines my 2 favorite hobbies together, curling and tabletop sports gaming. All right, so now here we are, main event time, if you will. It's going to be the men taking the curling sheet now, USA and Canada, and we will go back to Shot Rock Curling for this one. Team USA, Team Canada, let's get to our final game of this video. All right, now it's time for the men to take their turn on the curling sheet with Canada versus USA pre-play 2026 Winter Olympics. Just to save a little time, I went ahead and did all the pre-game and game score ratings off camera, but I'll just kind of give you a little rundown as to what they are. So for Team Canada, the lead is Ben Hebert. His rating stayed at a 1, and his game score is going to be a 92. Brett Gallant is the second. He stayed at a 4. His game score is going to be 77. Mark Kennedy dropped from a 3 to a 4 at the 3rd position. His game score rating is 75. And the skip for Canada is Brad Jacobs. He remained a 3. His game score rating is going to be a 67. Over on the Team USA side, those of you that may have watched curling in the Olympics in the past, notice that John Schuster's name is not on this card, and that's because this team right here defeated John Schuster's team 2-1 in the finals of the U.S. Olympic trials. So this is the new team representing the USA this winter here in Italy. The lead for Team USA is Aiden Oldenburg, and so his got an unfortunate roll for pregame. His rating drops from a 3 to a 4, and his game score rating is 80. Ben Richardson, on the other hand, improved from a 2 to a 1, and his game score rating is 89. Luke Violette is the third. His rating goes down to a 4, and his game score is going to be 75. And then the captain or skip, I should say, for Team USA is Daniel Casper. His rating improved to a 1. His game score is 75. All right, let's see who's going to get hammered. Again, odd for Canada, even for the USA. It is odd, so again, Canada's going to get the hammer to start. All right, so let's good curling, everybody. Let's see how the men do here. Jacob is going to try to blank end number 1. It's a 35, and he needed a 79, so no problem there. And number 1 becomes a blank. Let's go and see who has the influence for end number 2. It's going to be 60. That's going to go to the third, Mark Kennedy. So Kennedy has a game score rating of 75. So again, 75 or lower, he's going to make his shot, and he does with a 16. All right, so with that, we go to the hammer chart at 4, and they are both 4, so no adjustment needed. So we need to know how many points is Team Canada going to get? And they're only going to get one. So after 2 ends of play here, it's 1-0 Team Canada. All right, Daniel Casper, he's going to try to blank end number 3. Being a 1 this game, he needs a 1 to 83 to do it. And he gets a 92, so the blank is not happening. So we have to play this like a normal end. So let's see who's going to get the influence here. It's going to be 0-2. It's going to be Aiden Odenberg in the lead here. His game score percentage is 80. And he gets a 76, so he does make that critical shot. But he is a 4 and Ben Hebert is a 1. That is a 3-point difference the wrong way. So we're going to subtract 3 here. So let's see what we're going to get. It's going to be 86 minus 3 is 83, but that is still good enough for 3 points for the U.S. And so they're up 3-0 after 3-1, I should say, after 3 ends. Here we go to end number 4. Canada needs some points back, and so the influence this time is going to go to the skip, Brad Jacobs. Jacobs' success rating, as we mentioned earlier, is a 67, and it is a 42, so Jacobs will make his shot. So again, Jacobs is 2 worse than Casper because Casper's rating this game is a 1. So again, we're going to subtract 2 here from the hammer chart. 38 minus 2 is a 36. So Canada again only gets 1 this time. So after 4 ends, USA is up 3-2. We'll see if Casper will blank this one. Again, he needs a 1 to 83 to do it. And he does it this time. So the 5th end is blank. We go to the 6th. And we're going to try to score with USA this time. So let's see who gets the influence. And it's going to be 0-9. It's going to go to the lead again, Aiden Oldenburg. So once again, we need a 1 to 80 to do this. And it is an 0-2. So he does make his critical shots here. So once again, we're going to subtract 3 from this roll. It's 0-5 minus 3 is 0-2, and with his rating of 4, they only get 1 more this time. So it is now 4-2 Team USA heading into the 7th end. All right, so with that, Jacob is going to see if he can blank end number 7 to get hammer in the 8th. And it's a 36, so he does that very easily. So now here we go to end number 8. Let's see who gets the influence this time. And it's going to be an 87. Again, it's going to go to Brad Jacobs. Needs a 67 or lower to make his shot, and it's a 56. He does. So here we go. Here's the 3 with the hammer chart here. But again, we have to subtract 2. Very low roll for him. 0-6 minus 2 is 0-4. So Canada only gets 1. So it's 4-3 heading into the 9th. Wow. Okay. So basically, decision time for the U.S. Does Casper try to blank it and get hammer going into the 10th? We're going to see if he can do it. And he does. All right, so the U.S. has hammer going into the 10th end. Now, technically, you could blank 2 ends in a row without penalty. But we're going to do a little drama here, and we're going to see if the USA can hold on to their lead or if Canada can try to steal one. Again, in the final end, the skip automatically has influence. So it goes to the hands of Daniel Casper. He needs a 1 to 75 to make his shot. If we get that, then it's basically going to be game over. If we get a 76 or above, Canada will have a chance to steal. Here's the shot for Casper. And oh, what do you know? It's an 87. Canada's going to steal. We might be going to an extra end here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go with Brad Jacobs' rating here for the steal chart. Again, we're going to have to subtract 2. Let's see how many points Canada steals 51 minus 2 is a 49. So they do steal one. So Canada steals one at the end, and we are tied 4-4 after 10. But in international curling, you don't have a tie. So you have to play an extra end in order to break the tie. But since Canada scored in the 10th end, the USA keeps hammer. So once again, it's up to Daniel Casper. Can he make this critical shot? If not, then Team Canada is going to have another come from behind win. It's a 13. Casper makes it this time, so USA is going to win it. Let's see how many points they get here. It's going to be a 40 plus 2 is a 42, and he is a 1. They only get 1 out of this, but that is all they need. And in an extra end, the U.S. men defeat Team Canada by the score of 5-4. Let's take it back to the studio for a wrap-up of today's show. So Daniel Casper and Team USA pulls it out in the extra end 5-4 over Team Canada in our final game today. So that was Shot Rock Curling once again. And again, you can get that at the ASG Games website. I'll have the link for you in the description below. Like I said, playing curling on the tabletop is pretty fun as well. Granted, it's a niche sport. Of course, I'm kind of biased being an active curler myself, but I do like playing shot rock curling from time to time. I find it to be my go-to game at the moment just because of the fact that it is so easy to create individual cards for that game, because again, you're just basically looking up shooting percentages and you're dealing the ratings based on that. The matrix that they include in the game is very easy to do that. The only draw, I won't necessarily call it a drawback because it was never designed to do that, was in the mixed doubles area. I mean, obviously shot rock curling was designed for 4-person curling. I tried to do a little variant a couple years ago to try to make mixed doubles curling work, and I kind of went away from that. I might get back to it at some point, but there are some other games out there that might replicate it well. Curling King, for example, might replicate mixed doubles if you wanted to try that. That could be one. But again, your table, however you want to do it, that's pretty much the golden rule as far as tabletop sports gaming is concerned. And before I close, I just want to say that during this month of February with curling at its basically highest exposure that it normally gets in the United States, every 4 years, several curling clubs around the country will host different Learn to Curl events. If you live near one of these curling clubs that's putting on a Learn to Curling event and you haven't tried it out yet, I encourage you to attend one of those and give it a try. I mean, honestly, curling is one of those sports that is all inclusive. You don't have to be an elite 5-star athlete to be good at curling. You don't even have to, like, if you watch how those curlers crouch down in the hack to deliver the rock and you're thinking to yourself, I can't really bend down to do that, don't even let that cross your mind. We have several members that I've seen in our club and other clubs, they will use push sticks. So if they cannot bend down into the hack for one reason or another, they can simply just take a stick and use the push stick to actually push the stone down the ice. So again, curling is one of those sports that is meant to be inclusive for everyone. Great carryover value. It's physical enough that you feel that you're active, but at the same time relaxing enough so you don't overwork yourself. And also the social aspect of curling is it ranks up there. There's not too many other sports that you can do that really has a nice social bonding experience than curling does. So again, like I said, I encourage if you haven't given curling a try yet and you have a curling club near you, please give it a shot. You might not like it, but you might fall in love with it, and who knows, you might be like me someday and be an active curler and curl on a regular basis. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's episode of the Showcase. Again, coming up on the next video will be OSWA Livewire. Hopefully, we'll start to record those matches here sometime in the next week or two. But for now, today, 3 curling games, and so your final scores today. In the women, it was Team Canada over Team USA by the score of 6-4. With Shot Rock Curling in the mixed doubles, it was USA by a 6-4 triumph over Canada with instant end curling. And then in the final game with Shot Rock Curling, it was Team USA 5 and Team Canada 4 in an extra end. And that's going to do it for today. From all of us here at Imagisport, this is Derek Jones saying thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and most of all, keep on rolling. We'll see you later.